o'clock on this Monday morning, September 1st. We have entered the Ember months.
I know.
Thanks for joining us on ARC Rochester. Kind of depressing.
It is. It's kind of a lot bit depressing.
You know what, though?
What?
Here's the good news. We have 2 hours to get to this morning.
We do.
ARC
2
Rochester.
packed hours.
Yes.
Here on ARC Rochester. You know, that's a mood booster. Why don't we run down what we have brewing for the fine people this morning?
I love it. Oh, starting strong. Summer's wrapping up, and as students are getting ready to head back to school, flu season is just around the corner. So this morning we have Dr. Elizabeth Murray coming in to break down some of the ways you can protect your family from getting sick.
Then Blackfriars Theater is kicking off its 76th season with some big laughs and one unforgettable voice. This morning, we're sitting down with some of the cast to learn more about their upcoming production of Souvenir.
And then later on, we're just over a week away from the return of the Rochester Fringe Festival. Today, we're going to be chatting with the festival producer live from the Spiegel Tent site. We're going to get a status report on what's new, what's returning, and what you have to look forward to.
Fun to be had for all.
Fun.
At that Fringe Festival.
Chaos.
It really is. It's where fun, entertainment, talent, and chaos come to mingle.
Exactly. You know what? It's kind of like this show.
It is kind of like this show. Some spaghetti at the wall.
Yup.
Before all of that, let's get a check of today's holiday forecast. Today expected to be warm, sunny, and rain-free. Meteorologist Marty Snyder back from a much-deserved vacation. And Marty, you're bringing some decent weather with you.
It looks really nice for us. Yeah, we get some sunshine. That's going to hold on pretty well as we head forward throughout the day. And it did allow temperatures, that clearing that we did see overnight, that is, did allow temperatures to really pull back quite well overnight. So we're starting off quite chilly at this point, a lot of 40s and 50s out there. But we will see numbers increase quite well today. That same clearing that we saw overnight last night is going to allow a good amount of sunshine in, which will have a nice positive effect on these temperatures. Back to 73 at noon. We'll be in the mid-70s, maybe even a few upper 70s as we head through the afternoon. So again, it's going to be a nice increase today, and even after the holiday ends, even looking pretty quiet over the next couple days, probably closing in on 80 as we head into Wednesday. I think Wednesday night, especially going into Thursday, that'll be our next relatively good chance of seeing some rain across the area. We could use some at this point, 78 on Thursday, and we just kind of level off in the upper 60s by the upcoming weekend. So a little cooler for the much longer term, but at least these next few days, guys, we're going to warm things up a little bit in the important day today for the holiday when a lot of folks have off. Looks like some good news to be outside. Good deal of sunshine and probably somewhere well into the 70s for highs today.
Yeah, I'm wondering if any of our viewers have outdoor plans today and if they also have plans to invite us.
Yeah, open invitation.
Yeah,
right?
news at 13wham.com.
Hopefully they can handle the guests once the guests arrive.
Yeah, I think that's the issue.
We're pretty tame. What are you talking about?
Yeah, pretty
naming names.
All right. Thank you, Marty. We appreciate it.
All right, let's go off the top. Start with some things that have piqued our interest this Monday morning. All right, so I will start things off today. There are some things in life that are certain. Death, taxes, and if you're given a piece of merchandise at any sporting event, whether it's a fly ball or a sweat towel, you give it to a kid, right? That's kind of like common sense. Apparently not for this guy. Negative attention on social media surrounding him after he snatched an autographed hat right out of the hands of a kid. All right, so Camille, wait, Rory, scroll back up because I'm going to need his name. Camille Marchizak, I think I'm saying that right, at the U.S. Open gave his hat to this kid. You're going to see it snatched away in just a second. The guy in question here has been identified as the CEO of a paving company.
Get out.
Yeah, he's a millionaire. His name is Peter Swerzek. I think I'm saying that right. Really, there is not much of an explanation as to why this happened. You can see it in the video for yourself. You can even try to make excuses for this guy. Maybe there's some confusion. Maybe he was going to give it to his kid. Maybe whatever. You can try to find a good reason here. Except the reality is there isn't one. This guy is not apologizing and apparently is owning up to it on his social media, which has now been deactivated. Apparently, there was a post that has gotten quite a bit of attention on social media. There it is. He reportedly put this out saying, quote, "The recent incident at the tennis match has caused a disproportionate uproar online. It's all about the famous hat, of course. Yes, I took it, but I did it quickly. As I've always said, life is first come, first served. I understand some people might not like it, but please let's not make it a global scandal out of the hat. It's just a hat. If you were faster, you would have it. Regarding that online hate, I remind you, insulting a public figure is subject to legal liability. All offensive comments, slander, and insinuations will be analyzed for the possibility of taking the matter to court. Okay. So now in the past few hours, we've actually seen some reports online that maybe this was a bot, maybe it was a spam account, but Yahoo News reportedly confirmed that this is legit and this is real. Either way, we haven't heard anything else from this guy, and like I said, he's deactivated his social media. That was translated, by the way, which is why it was a little choppy there. The tennis star, though, gave the CEO the contact information for the boy's mom so that he could make things right, but we haven't heard anything other than that. As for the kid, his name is Brock. Obviously, he was upset watching the hat that was supposed to be his be ripped from his hands and placed into this guy's wife's purse. But perhaps even more upset than Brock, the people on social media and in other places too. According to the New York Post, on a Polish job search site, people are calling this guy a sack of garbage, a common thief, and a shameful jerk.
Ouch.
The tennis star, though, has made it right with this young kid named Brock, reuniting with the boy and giving him a new hat. As for the CEO, my question is, what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
Are
who
you
hurt
kidding?
you, pal?
Ashley, can we show the video one more time? I don't know if we can pull it up, but I just want to show him snatching.
It's gross.
There it is. Yep, boom, right out of his hand.
It's gross.
And then into the bag. It happens so quick, like you don't even.
Yeah, open this bag, honey. There we go. We got ourselves an autographed hat.
The boat and tote. Yeah, just absolutely crazy. And here's the thing, dude. You're a millionaire. Buy one.
Well, and first come, first served. Yes, you're absolutely right. You're older. You came first. You were served already, my man.
Yeah.
And then if that statement is real, you're petty enough to threaten people with a lawsuit for defamation because you can't own up to your deplorable actions. That's gross.
Yeah. It's like.
So are you.
It's a gross video to watch.
At me. Like, totally uncalled for.
Yeah.
Totally uncalled for.
It's just common sense.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do with the hat? What are
Sell
you going
it.
to do with it?
He's going to put it on eBay or some garbage like that.
Well, maybe he's got a collection or whatever. But that's the
Buy
thing.
one.
Whatever. He's a millionaire.
Exactly.
He has the
exactly.
ability. That kid is going to, now the kid has a really cool memory. He got to meet the tennis star.
Sure.
He got a new hat.
Sure.
Posted a video on his social media. Like, that's a nice, happy memory. But in that moment, can you imagine? Like, that would make you feel so small.
100%.
And like, I feel like as adults, it's our responsibility to make younger generations feel like they're worth something because they are.
Feel important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great way to look at it. And listen, buddy, I hope that someday Brock grows up to buy your company and sell it for parts. Okay? That's what I hope happens.
That's like Pretty Woman.
Yes. Well, I hope he does. And that you are penniless at the time.
Ooh.
And you know what? You know what he'll do? He'll throw you an autographed hat as he walks by you sitting on the curb.
Careful, Daniel. He's threatened legal action.
Oh,
I hear he's
I'm
a big fan of the show.
All right, let's
Zarcone.
move along to mine. Imagine you're locked into a 6-hour flight, thousands of miles from your destination, and suddenly the bathrooms go out. Well, that's exactly what happened on a Virgin Australia flight from Bali to Brisbane last week. It was a full-blown plumbing nightmare. The toilets on the airplane failed, every single one of them. And you'll never guess what passengers were told. Well, here are your options, folks. Find a bottle or go on top of what's already in the toilet. It sounds like a disaster either way. One elderly woman simply couldn't hold it and wet herself, which is honestly humiliating and heartbreaking. But also, and a vivid reminder of how helpless you can be in the sky for those remaining 3 hours and how that cabin became a floating outhouse. It's pretty disgusting. The stench was overwhelming. Children cried, grown adults panicked, and flight attendants scrambled to improvise. At one point, sinks were offered as Plan C. The toilets are full. Do you guys want to try the sink? We're out of empty bottles. What do you do when all the bottles are full?
The plumbing already doesn't work. Why would the sink work?
Well, because
if one is going to go wrong, the other will follow. That's how it always goes.
Yes, but I think the thought is it's a drain, and so there is some space. Listen, I'm just saying. Bottles were passed around like water in a marathon, but Virgin has since apologized, calling it a challenging situation. They also promised to refund passengers. Now, you might be asking yourself, why didn't they land somewhere else? The short answer, Virgin likely didn't land anywhere else because broken toilets aren't considered an immediate safety threat.
What?
And the airline calculated it was less disruptive to keep flying. Now, of course, that calculus didn't account for how badly this would play out in the press, because it's gotten a lot of press. Virgin's public statements so far only acknowledge the failure, apologize, and promise flight credits. But they've not given any public explanation for why they did not choose to divert that plane. Meantime, Australia's Transport Worker Union called it a serious hazard, warning that it would highlight a bigger issue, airlines choosing profits at the expense of safety, service, and apparently functioning plumbing. So while, yes, this is the kind of story that makes you laugh out loud, it does so only until you think about what it must have smelled like at 30,000 feet, because then that realization hits you like a ton of bricks or like gallons and gallons of waste. Because up there, there's one simple truth. Dignity and plumbing are never guaranteed.
That was beautifully said.
Poetic,
honestly,
you might say.
I'd call you a poet. I'd call that disgusting, and I would call it a public health hazard. I'm sorry, I don't want to be sitting in somebody's waste. That is the nastiest thing I've ever heard. And it's not that big of a deal. What did they say? It wasn't an emergency. They're passing out bottles. You're telling me that's not an emergency?
The plane is still capable of flying. Listen.
That is.
I'm not.
The limit.
My application with Virgin Atlantic was respectfully declined to be their PR spokesperson, and so don't shoot this messenger.
Listen, I would.
It's disgusting.
It is so nasty.
It's
and you
disgusting.
know I have issues with airlines. You know I do, because it's like we've lost. I can't even get on it. I can't.
No,
you know
please.
what? I'm gonna do it. It's like, why? It's all gotten nasty. No matter what kind of airline you take, it's never pleasant. They're always a little dirty. There's always something a little sticky, and the people are always a little bad at covering their mouths when they cough. And that is just
a lot of them are.
A lot of them are.
A lot of them are. Yeah.
And it's we're paying all of this money.
Yep.
The toilets should work. I understand that bad things happen, right?
Sure.
Things happen. I want to know how they cleaned that plane after.
Well, here's my thought.
I want to know how they cleaned the plane.
That I can only imagine that the bathrooms are the least of their concerns, and that I'm sure there was more than one seat and carpet in that plane that had to be replaced. So that thing's out of commission for how long now, which is really going to cost the airline money. That plus the bad PR.
Yep.
That is going to be a bigger financial hit, I think, than just landing that plane and, diverting to somewhere else and booking these travelers on some other flight.
These were two topics that I hate: mean people and airports and planes.
Stick around. When Arc Rochester returns, we're checking in with Chris Lopez, who is live from the airport, giving us, and Abby's going to give us her take on holiday travel.
No, don't forget, take us on the go wherever you are. We're streaming live on the 13 Wham YouTube channel and on foxrochester.com.
You do love the Rochester airport,
I love
though.
the Rochester
Yes.
airport. I do. Never a bad experience. We're back after this. Welcome back. Labor Day weekend marks the unofficial end to summer. Millions of Americans wrapping up their summer travel.
Yeah, many are arriving back to Rochester this morning. Chris Lopez wanted to welcome them home. We go to him live from the Rochester airport this morning with more. Hey there, Chris, what's wrong?
Not too many people to welcome here right now, but that's kind of the flow of things right here at Rochester International. A lot of people leaving very early, a lot of people coming in very late. I'm here with Andy Moore, director of the airport here. We were talking construction right before we came on, and you are very excited, to say the least, for construction to be done. But what parts of the airport are being finished right now?
So we've had about a 2-year project going on to date, and so right now we're finishing up with our fire alarms systems, finishing up with elevators and our entry doorways.
And what do you think that's going to do for the people coming in here, especially the holiday season? They're going to see all that relatively done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we still have some roadway work that we have to do. That won't be done until November, December timeframe. But as far as the interior of the building, it's really about 3 different phases: behind the walls, infrastructure, safety and security, and then passenger amenities. So all of that was combined into this overall 2-year project.
And then you also have the Vet Center, and then you have the Frederick Douglass Observatory, about $1.4 million going into that. And those turned out really great, by the way. What do you think that's going to do for the experience here? Because you do have a lot of people hanging out in between flights.
Yeah, so we wanted it to be reflective of our community values. And so the Frederick Douglass Legacy area is certainly that. And then the William T. Perkins Jr. Veterans area is certainly reflective of that. And so it just enhances the passenger experience, both departing and then also visitors coming into Rochester can see what our community values and what's important to our community with those two offerings.
And then new flights, what has been added and what will be added?
So we've got some great new destinations going on right now. We've had a bunch of them over the last year. Starting up soon in January, February, will be Sarasota, Florida nonstop and Fort Myers, Florida nonstop. We also have Myrtle Beach nonstop that will be starting up actually this week. But we have more new nonstop destinations, including Las Vegas, Charleston, Nashville, Wilmington, Lakeland, Florida, all nonstop destinations out of Rochester.
And then holiday travel is coming up. It's not too far off, especially Thanksgiving travel. What things can people expect around that holiday time frame?
So we're always busy during the Thanksgiving time period. It's the busiest 5 days of the year by far. We're expecting some big numbers moving forward. Last year was record setting. I don't think this year will be, or I think this year will be quite a bit different. So I expect record levels of travel this year too.
And then when it comes to people coming into the Rochester airport for the very first time, what do you want them to take away from this? Because it's very unique. It's not a big airport. You said sometimes people are just passing through here.
Yep. So I really would like people to get to know our amenities that we have here, get to know the efficiencies that we really emphasize. This is classified as a small hub airport. Yeah. And so we're not one of the mega airports like Chicago, JFK, Atlanta, and so forth. So we really try to emphasize just amenities and making your passenger experience just a little bit better.
And then last question, what was the most popular destination over the summer?
So Orlando is always our #1 destination by far.
And why do you think that is?
So I just think it has a lot to offer. It's centrally located in Florida, so you can fly nonstop into Orlando and then get a rental car and go wherever you want to go. But also you have Walt Disney World, Universal, SeaWorld, all the different amenities that families like to go visit. It is our #1 destination by far.
Cheap prices as well here at Rochester International. Thank you, Andy Moore, for being up on Labor Day here to do live shots at 5:30 in the morning. We appreciate it here.
Happy to do so.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys in studio.
All right, Mr. Lopez, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right, don't go anywhere. When our Rochester returns, we have weather trivia.
Yeah, Marty Snyder joining us on the other side of the break.
here now, giving us a look at the warm holiday forecast. It is Labor Day, and honestly, I know a lot of people are going to be going to cookouts and enjoying the nice weather.
Very important. Yeah, all that coming up. And today, with Labor Day, it is kind of the unofficial end of summer. And even statistically, Dan's face just went totally blank. And and yesterday was the last day of meteorological summer. So it all kind of lines up, So that's our topic for our trivia question for the day.
Okay.
Throwing that in there. This is one that, Dan, I know you've been keeping track, so you may have a little edge on this. I know Ed's been watching as well.
Is it 90-degree day?
It is, yes.
Oh, okay.
So yesterday was the last day of meteorological summer. We want to know, in Rochester, how many days reached 90 degrees or greater this year? So all of them happened during meteorological summer, so we can include them all in that one group there. So there are your choices, all grouped together as well. Was it 9, 10, 11, or 12 days that we hit 90 degrees or greater over the course of this summer so far?
Done.
Okay, you got it, Dan.
Got it.
Okay.
I think I feel pretty good. I think.
Yeah, all right.
No matter what the number is that you guess, it's not enough.
It's not enough,
It's not enough.
I like those summertime days.
Yeah.
A little bit of heat, humidity here and there.
Let me ask, since we're talking about this, what are the odds? Because it's happened before. It doesn't happen with any regularity.
Yeah.
What are the odds we experience a 90-degree day at some point in September or October?
October is pretty much slim to none, really minuscule. I don't know if we've ever done that. And a lot of these...
we did once, but maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't. I thought it was my first year here.
Okay, I'll have to go back and look.
I could be totally wrong.
It's extremely rare if it does happen in this part of the country. But usually it's skewed towards the beginning of the month. So if we were to see one in September, better chance first half of the month than second, just because your averages kind of tumble off. But this year, it looks like it's going to be tough to hit that 90-degree mark in the first couple weeks of the month. So I'd bet greater than 50-50 chance that we're pretty much done.
Okay.
So our number that we're going with for our trivia question up to this point is probably what we'll hit New Year's Eve with.
All right.
So
that's it.
Let me ask you this, and I don't, I know it's probably hard to guess, but are we done with the 80s? Because it's been cool. I mean, is it going to warm back up in September?
I have one in our extended forecast at least.
Okay, well,
so for this week.
For this week, but
we kind of slide off a little bit.
Yeah, it's concerning.
And that's it. Our average high temperature does slide back down a little bit over these upcoming weeks. So, it becomes less and less likely. So enjoy the one that we're going to see this week. We're going to be close. Close call by the middle of the week.
It just gets me feeling all mellow.
Yeah. Did I do that? I guess
did.
it was my fault.
A little bit, Marty.
Right.
You did.
We'll have to come up with a little more lighthearted question tomorrow.
All right.
I'll leave that to
good.
Mark because he'll be doing trivia tomorrow. That'll be his fault if he gets everyone in a down mood. But today's going to be an all right day. Some good news for our weather today. We're going to see at least some sunshine try to hold on as we head forward throughout the day today. So a little better news going into the afternoon. We're starting with temperatures mainly in the 50s now. We were in the 40s earlier this morning, but we've already bounced up off that early morning low and should continue to move along pretty well today. Probably somewhere in the 70s, mid to upper 70s for highs today. And that's pretty close to the average for this time of year. The average high is a little bit below 80, but as we all know, it is within striking distance this time of year. So we'll hope for another couple of those. And this week, I should say, I think we may come at least close to that a couple times. But today you can see just very dry. We could use some rain at this point, as we all know. But of course, with the holiday, might as well keep it dry. And I think that's the way it's going to be today. Any rain well away from us off the East Coast, west of the Mississippi. So a pretty good buffer between us and any of those areas of rain that are out there. And even over this time lapse, really not much changing there. You can see the skies brighten up a little bit. Trees move every once in a while. And that's about it. So some sunshine has been winning out and will continue to win out throughout the day. We were in the 40s earlier. Now we come back up to 51 for that latest number. So again, still a cool start even after coming up off those early morning lows. But otherwise, again, very quiet weather. Some areas approaching 60 already. South Bristol, Cohocton, both near 60, degree shy of that in Warsaw and Batavia, and Brockport even up to 60. So you can see some progress being made with some of these numbers. Cool start. So it takes a little time for those numbers to really move, but we will see that happen today. And as you can see, some scattered clouds have passed through. May see just a few more tonight, which could help us out a little bit more with that low tonight. Maybe a story where we hit the 50s for lows versus the 40s that we saw during this past night. And then for tomorrow, still mainly dry, just a few more clouds tomorrow. And I think as we head through the next couple of days, we gain a little bit each day. So tomorrow within a couple degrees of 80, probably close to 80, close call on Wednesday there. So there is that hope. But as we head later into the week, those numbers do slide off a little bit. 78 with a higher risk of rain on Thursday. Again, we'll look at that as a possibility positive thing because we could use the rain at this point still. And then lower 70s and 60s for highs for Friday and Saturday. So likely the 80-degree day not coming towards the end of the week. If we do hit that 80-degree mark, it would likely be tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, with those numbers having a little bit more of an upward push during those afternoons. So there is some hope.
We're talking about those 90s. And you pointed out the 50 or 51 degree temperature out there now. It's astounding to think that those 90 degrees, 40 degrees, that's the separation from where we are right now to where we were
for that peak.
At the height of summer.
Yeah, the warmest day was 93, was a peak temperature that we saw throughout the summer.
42 degrees.
Far cry from that this morning.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just, I'm like looking in my closet and I'm like, okay, I don't have any long sleeves out right now.
Yeah.
I had to dig this one out from
Time
back,
to time to get them out.
It's all right.
Before you know it, we're going to be in the studio and it won't be a, oh my gosh, that AC is so cold. It's going to be sweltering in here.
I will never complain about that. I want you to know. I'll never complain. Never.
Mark those words.
Yeah.
It's fine.
The number of times I've heard, will you go tell Mike Kahn to turn it down?
Yeah, the air conditioning, never the heat. Shout out
that
to
app
Mike
that he
Kahn.
has on his phone.
I know. I would like
really?
access to the app.
Oh,
I would.
that would be nice if we had that.
We don't rank
Hey,
it.
don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to come right here on ARC Rochester.
We're back after this. It's Monday.
It is.
It's Labor Day.
It is.
This is ARC Rochester.
It is.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do. We want to take you behind the story now as the Trump administration is moving ahead with plans for a major immigration enforcement operation in Chicago.
Yeah, Democratic leaders in Chicago say they're prepared to take the Trump administration to court as they brace for a surge of federal law enforcement and potentially National Guard troops sent by Trump, who claims crime in the city is out of control.
National correspondent Atra El-Nashar reports.
The mayor of Chicago does not want his city to become the next Washington, D.C.
Unfortunately, we do not have the luxury of time. We have received credible reports that we have days, not weeks, before our city sees some type of militarized activity by the federal government.
The Trump administration says Chicagoans need them.
I won't disclose the details because they are law enforcement and investigative folks that are on the ground there, and I want to make sure we keep their security our number one priority. But we will continue to go after the worst of the worst across the country like President Trump has told us to do.
Mayor Brandon Johnson signing an executive order Saturday affirming that local law enforcement will not collaborate with federal agents on joint patrols or arrests, including civil immigration enforcement.
We will not have our police officers who are working hard every single day to drive down crime deputized to do traffic stops and checkpoints for the president.
The mayor points to a year-to-date 21.6% decline in overall violent crime, including a 32.3% drop in homicides. According to the Nonpartisan Council on Criminal Justice, overall crime is down double-digit percentages from pre-pandemic years. But the level of crime is still substantially higher than other American cities. President Trump posting Friday, 6 people were killed and 24 people were shot in Chicago last weekend, calling out Governor J.B. Pritzker. He is crazy. He better straighten it out fast or we're coming. Pritzker says no one in the administration has been in contact with the city or the state to address crime.
We're very proud of the work that we've done, and we want more help. You know what kind of help we want? Civilian law enforcement help. We would like ATF agents to help us take more guns off the streets. We would like FBI, again, to coordinate with our local law enforcement to help catch perpetrators of crimes.
But sending troops to an American city? Pritzker calls that an illegal invasion and is prepared to challenge it in court. I'm Atra Al-Nashar reporting.
So that obviously is something that has been unfolding significantly in just the past couple days. And, you know, it's really hard with this story and the story that we've been following, which is, you know, more National Guard troops in other major cities. There just isn't a lot of information being shared. So a lot of it is just speculation from, you know, leaders. And we're just trying to relay the message, but it's very limited information.
Yeah, you've got the administration saying this is something that they may do, that they are considering doing. And you have municipalities and states saying they have not been made aware of any of this. I know that this past weekend, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, she was on the Sunday morning circuit speaking on all of the news programs about the potential deployment and would not confirm nor deny, which is understandable. That's not really her place to say. But it's interesting, the juxtaposition between where we are right now in 2025 and her stance in February 2024, when you can look it up, it's still posted on her X page, where she said that President Biden considering to launch the National Guard at the Texas southern border would be breaking the Constitution, calling it unconstitutional, calling it government overreach, because as you know by now, as we've discussed numerous times now, that it's up to the governor of each individual state to deploy the state's National Guard. It's not up to the federal government to deploy the National Guard. That's what you see more along the lines in a dictatorship or in a military state. And that's really the antithesis of what the United States of America is.
Right. And, you know, obviously the people in Illinois and Chicago are pretty adamant that they don't want this. You know, we've heard from the governor, we've heard from Chicago's mayor. Chicago's mayor saying in part he had grave concerns about the impact of any unlawful deployment of National Guard troops, and also called the approach uncoordinated, uncalled for, and unsound. So some pretty strong words there from Mayor Johnson. And that's video right there of him signing an executive order prohibiting city police from collaborating with the National Guard troops or with federal agents if they are deployed to Chicago.
It'll be interesting to see because initially, I think it was early last week or late the week before, that when this all came to light, it was not last week. It had to have been the week before because we didn't see President Trump last week. The week before, he mentioned that it would be Chicago and New York City as well.
Right.
And the governor spoke out on that briefly. Governor Kathy Hochul, saying he's got another thing coming. That's not how the game is played. That is not. It's not his National Guard to deploy. So it really will be interesting to see what comes of this. Another interesting fact is that these guardsmen, the ones deployed specifically in D.C., and I believe the ones that were deployed in California, they're all on 29-day papers. Now, housing and health care for these National Guardsmen does not kick in until 30 days of consecutive service. So it's interesting that the federal government is deploying these military men and women and taking them off duty right before they're supposed to be getting the full pay and full benefits.
Yeah.
We're not even fulfilling that.
Like you said, interesting to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get a little more clarity this week from the president. So information to come, and we'll keep you updated as soon as we learn more.
Absolutely. 8:40, stick around. A lot more to come here on ARC Rochester, including when we come back. We are once again checking in with Chris Lopez, who's taking a closer look at today's holiday travel forecast.
Yeah, like how travel is going to be.
Okay, I'm thinking.
I know, it confused me.
He's a meteorologist now?
Yeah, don't forget, take us on the go wherever you are. We're streaming live on the 13 Wham YouTube channel and on foxrochester.com. We're back after this.
We are at the unofficial end of summer, Abigail. Kids are going back to class tomorrow and the rest of the week. Millions of Americans are wrapping up their summer break.
Yeah, that includes some travelers at the Rochester International Airport. Chris Lopez wanted to check it out and see just how many people would be rolling through there this morning. Chris, last time we checked in with you, it was pretty quiet. Let's get a look now.
Yeah, guys, about 17.5 million flyers, according to TSA, were taken to the air over this Labor Day weekend. Some of that being here in Rochester International. I'm here with Airport Director Andy Moore. Good morning. You have a lot of construction going on here. Some of that expected to be completed relatively soon. What do you think that that's going to do for travelers that are coming here?
So we've had projects going on for the last 2 years. Hopefully they'll be completed sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We really tried to include all aspects of the passenger experience here. Infrastructure, behind the walls, HVAC security systems, also fire detection systems, but also passenger amenities too. So we really tried to include all 3 phases of the passenger experience.
And I want to pivot over to Real ID. That was a very big deal. The last time we were here a few months ago, some people had a lot of confusion. They didn't think that they could fly. That's not the case. You can still fly if you don't have a Real ID.
Yeah, I strongly encourage everybody to get a Real ID. I have one. It just makes your transition with flying through the checkpoint much easier.
Okay.
If you don't have a Real ID, U.S. passport still valid. That works. But ultimately, people lose their wallets and their purses every day. You can still fly. I just suggest you get to the airport multiple hours earlier, 3-4 hours early. Let the airline know. You go through some background screening, some ID checks, stuff like that. But you can still fly if you don't have an identification.
And changing the chapter to holiday travel. Looking forward to that. One of your busiest weekends is Thanksgiving travel, and you guys have added new flights. Can you talk about those new flights a little bit?
Absolutely. We've had some great growth of new destinations, nonstop destinations. Myrtle Beach nonstop starts up this week with Breeze. Also, Fort Myers nonstop starts up in the January, February. Sarasota, Florida starts up January, February. But we still have Nashville, Charleston, Las Vegas, Wilmington, Lakeland, Florida, all new nonstop destinations in the last year.
And do you expect the prices to stay low come holiday season? I know they're going to tick up a little bit because of demand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of these destinations you can fly as low as $59 one way on select dates. So I see a lot of the airfare between $59 to $89 one way. It's cheaper than going out to dinner sometimes.
Of course. Thank you so much, Andy Moore, for joining us throughout the morning. A lot of cheap flights here at Rochester International. Some as low as, like you said, $59. You can't beat that. Back to you guys in studio.
$59. Where are we going? Buffalo. Stick around when Arc Rochester returns. We're preparing for flu season.
Yeah, a closer look at how you can protect your whole family from getting sick.
We're back after this. Summer is wrapping up, but doctors, they are already looking ahead to flu season and the bigger picture of winter respiratory illness.
Yeah, this morning, Dr. Elizabeth Murray from Golisano Children's Hospital joins us to talk about everything we need to know and the different ways to protect ourselves and our families during the winter season. Kind of depressing to talk about, but something that is mandatory.
Yes, for sure. I mean, you can feel the fall is in the air. School starts on Wednesday or Thursday this week. We know usually that means about 2 weeks later, the coughs, the colds, the congestions are going to definitely be ramping up in our community. Certainly our colleagues in the South who've been back to school for a few weeks have already started to see the illnesses. We've actually had at least, one case of RSV, and we still have COVID in our community too. So, yay, it's
all
coming.
Things to keep in mind.
Oh, yes. Aren't we excited? Talk to us about all of the ways that we can protect ourselves. One of the big ways that people might be hearing about or reading about or seeing a lot of ads for is at-home flu mist.
Yes. So the flu mist is a nasal spray vaccine that's actually been around for about 20 years. It is not new. My children have received it in the past, and it's a great option for people who would prefer to not have an injection, which you could understand. There's a lot of 3- and 4-year-olds in that camp. So it's licensed for people 2 years of age to 49 years of age. Certain health conditions could make it not appropriate for you to receive. However, just very recently, they announced that you can now do this at home. Unfortunately for us in New York State, we are one of the states that are not yet allowing it. So I went online to order it thinking this will be great, and turns out in New York State, we can't do it right now. However, that is just for the home use. So there will be doctor's offices potentially that will be offering it. So your pediatrician, family practice doctor might still be offering it. It is a great option, again, for otherwise healthy children who don't want to actually have the injection, or for young adults, as I said, anybody up to 49 years of age can receive it.
Okay, and so I know some people are hesitant about getting the flu shot. Some people say, well, it only works some of the time. It might not even work at all. What are your thoughts?
It does work really well at preventing severe disease. You're right. It's not necessarily a guarantee to prevent any disease, but we know that last year was one of our worst years for children with regards to flu. We had a really, unfortunately, incredibly high number of deaths. The majority of those children were unvaccinated and otherwise healthy. So I think it's easy to kind of say, oh, I don't really have any health risk. That's not a problem. Well, still being really sick for 5 days, missing work, missing school is not fun at all. So, and again, we want to make sure we're keeping our whole community safe, remembering that there certainly are people in our community because of age or other medical conditions that can't be vaccinated. So if we can do anything to keep all the diseases at bay, let's do it.
Yeah, I know for some that I know for a lot of people, they much rather have one day where they don't feel great because they got vaccinated rather than any of that other stuff, because it can be a nightmare.
Yes, sure. And again, we don't want people losing work. We don't want the side effects of diseases that can potentially happen. Flu is usually pretty notorious for having, the regular flu symptoms and then a pretty high risk for something else, a secondary pneumonia. Last year, we saw a lot of children that had really severe muscle aches to the point where some couldn't walk for a while because they were so uncomfortable. So, I think, again, we just want to make sure that people understand the vaccines will hopefully still be available. It's just right now in our community, it's going to be going to your doctor's office like business as usual with regards to getting those vaccines.
And when it comes to getting the vaccine, doctor's office, do you recommend people go to like a CVS or Walgreens or anything like that?
I think the best vaccination is the one that you can get. So, it depends on what's best for you. In general, children usually do better, and not all pharmacies can vaccinate children. So, making sure that you have somebody who understands your child's past history. There are some subtle rules about some children will need 2 flu vaccines in a year if they've never received them before. So making sure, access to medical records and knowing exactly what your child needs is important. And, kid-friendly environments are nice. They'll have the freezy spray or Buzzy or something just to help to make that vaccination experience a little bit more pleasant.
Anything we should know about COVID vax this year?
Yeah, and so, I think that the news on this is sounding to be very confusing. And I think the confusion is really not necessarily about the vaccine. We know the vaccine works. There is a vaccine that's going to be out there, but we need to make sure that everybody who wants that vaccine has access to it. We know that it is a helpful vaccine. American Academy of Pediatrics, American College of Obstetrician and Gynecologists, other professional organizations have been very clear about their advocacy and their statements about people needing access to this vaccine. We are waiting to see if insurance companies will continue to cover it. I think they probably will because they know it's going to be cost-saving. Preventative care is a great way to save money. We know that, and that's tried and true, whether it's car seats, lead abatement, vaccines. If we invest in preventative care, it'll save money, but my standpoint, more importantly, it'll increase health.
Very good.
We like it.
Doc Murray, thank you so much for your time today. We have like 15 seconds left. Any last minute advice for parents to send with their kids as they go back to school?
Wash those hands, wash those hands, wash your hands again. Get that flu vaccine in before Halloween.
Wash those hands. Nobody likes
do that
sticky
now.
hands.
No.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate it.
Time right now, 8:55. Much more to get to this morning on ARC Rochester.
Yeah, we're back on the other side of the break.
We have much more to get to this morning on ARC Rochester as we continue into the 9 o'clock hour. Stephannie Joseph will be here breaking down some of our top political stories.
Yeah, she's over at the live desk now with a preview of what we can expect at 9. Hey, Steph.
Hey there, guys. In today's Political Pulse, a deep dive into one of the recent executive orders signed by President Donald Trump. Why his intent to prosecute anyone who burns the American flag could lead to a challenge of a landmark Supreme Court ruling. That's all coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. ARC Rochester returns after this.
Monday morning, September 1st. Thanks for staying with us on ARC Rochester. I'm Abby Fridmann.
I'm Dan Schrack. Meteorologist Marty Snyder back with us once again for a look at the forecast and to give us the answer to today's weather trivia. Yeah. We are taking a trip down memory lane here with weather trivia.
Looking back at the summer so far. And this one now, I try to, sometimes we have more challenging ones, sometimes they're a little more easy. This one I know you've been keeping track, Dan, so hopefully at least you have a little advantage on this one. So the question that we had for today was looking back at the summer season that officially ended yesterday as far as meteorological summer goes. We still do have at least a few more weeks of astronomical summer, so we can look at it that way. But otherwise, yesterday was the last day of meteorological summer. In Rochester, we want to know how many days did we hit 90 degrees or greater? So your choices were 9, 10, 11, or 12, A, B, C, or D. Those are your choices there. Did we have any folks weigh in? I don't know if we had. I did post it a little late online, so I may have limited the number of chances, yeah.
I am going with 9.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
That's my answer.
I was going to go 10.
Oh, really?
But I also, I traveled a lot this summer.
So
10 is average.
I initially thought the answer was 8.
Okay.
Because I remember 8.
Yeah. We did have more than that, I'll tell you that.
Did we have 10 or did we have 9?
You know what? I'm going to go 11. How about that?
Okay.
I'll go with 11.
Oh, wow, okay.
I might one-up you.
You're going to
go 12.
Wow.
I might go 12.
13.
Oh, my gosh.
Going.
Yeah.
So, okay, so final answer?
I'm going to go 11.
So 11?
Yeah.
What was your final answer, Dan?
Well, see, now here's the conundrum.
I can only imagine you during a Regents exam.
Honestly. Here's the conundrum.
Yeah.
You pick 11 because, you maybe that's it.
Yeah.
And it's a C, Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be A, and you kick yourself because you should have gone with your gut. But I don't.
All right, what do you think?
You want to know what the amazing news is? It really does not matter
It
as
does
much
not.
as you're building it up to be.
It does not matter. Let's go 10.
Okay, 10. Answer is
11
days.
Nice.
Got it. But
See,
the average
now
is
it matters.
10.
Now it matters.
You're right.
But I'm not going to go celebrate or anything. Maybe
Okay.
just internally.
Okay.
Yeah, right. But the average is 10. So on average, Rochester experiences on average about 10 days with a 90-degree plus reading per year. So it was close to average. In some of those numbers, we did see a lot of 89s in there. So any of those 89s, if they added a degree, it would added a count on our scoreboard there. But
If we all had just gone outside and started running in circles,
could have
got the outside atmosphere temperature up.
Is that how that works?
That's how it works.
moved it along a little bit there.
Absolutely.
We should all do that in February then.
We should.
I like that idea, yeah. Oh, it's still warm out. We want to take another look at our muddy paws forecast because this one involves a little bit of water. I think Violet was out there having a little fun with the garden hose.
Gosh.
There's Violet there waiting
Love
to
it.
probably be sprayed down a little bit there on one of those hotter days we saw. And I think a lot of the days this week, it's going to be pretty dry for us. It's Thursday when that risk of rain does come up a little bit during that time frame. So a little change by then. But otherwise, some summer-like weather. I'm sure Violet was enjoying there. Probably got sprayed down a little bit with that hose there when it was a little warmer outside. Today, not very warm to start the day, but we're going to change that around. We'll see numbers move along pretty well. We did start off in the 40s in some areas this morning. Moved pretty well since then. We'll get up to about 73 at noon and probably somewhere in the mid-70s to even a few upper 70s this afternoon, which is pretty close to average for this time of year. And once again, good news for Labor Day with all the outdoor plans I know folks have today. Really not much showing up on radar, and it's not going to be a case where we see any showers or thunderstorms pop up. It's pretty much what you see is what you get, and that precipitation either offshore off the eastern seaboard or even off to the west. You can see a couple little showers in Tennessee right now, but that's about the closest activity to us right now. Just a dry air mass that's out there, very clear skies, and those clear skies really allowed temperatures to pull back pretty well. There's a time lapse, and you can see not really much changing other than the shadows being cast on Pinnacle Hill from some of the towers there. But we're seeing temperatures begin to rise up through the 50s. Again, we were in the 40s earlier, 56 currently, a little breeze about 5 miles an hour. Nothing too significant there. A lot of numbers in the 50s, even some in the 60s to the east already. A lot of 61s, 62s showing up, even some 61s and 63s to the west. Genesee Valley running just a little bit cooler by a small amount, but even those numbers are going to catch up throughout the day. We'll see a lot of sun. You can see a few scattered clouds pass through. That's going to be about it. We'll be well into the 70s today. A few more clouds tonight relative to what we saw last night. will actually help temperatures out a little bit. I think tonight will be up probably in the 50s for lows versus the 40s and 50s that we saw today. And then tomorrow, just a few more clouds, little isolated showers a possibility, but still I think mainly dry for that time frame. And I think that'll be the theme over upcoming days. But today, tomorrow, both well into the 70s for highs. And notice how we gain a little bit each day. No 90s in the foreseeable future, but could make a run at 80 heading towards Wednesday, which is above average by a little bit for this time of year. There's that rain as it moves in on Thursday. Even Wednesday night could see our first couple showers try to make a return. And then we just slide off a little bit into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday within a few degrees of 70 for each of those highs. So not looking too bad for the upcoming weekend. A little cooler than this past one. And at least for these next few days, a little bit of an upward trend in temperatures. So a little hope that we'll get closer to 80 by the end of the week again.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea what time that rain could potentially arrive on Thursday?
At this point, it may be in place with at least some showers by early Thursday and could turn steady as we go through the day. Like I mentioned, even Wednesday night, late overnight, Wednesday night between that and Thursday, I think that'll be our first couple showers, starting as showers, and then could turn into what could be a little more steady rain across the area, which is something we could use at this point.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, Marty.
Okay.
Time right now, 9:07. Much more to get to this morning, including when we come back, we're learning more about the upcoming production coming to Blackfriars Theater.
Hey, and don't forget, you can take us on the go wherever you are. Arc Rochester is streaming live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel and foxrochester.com. Stick around. We're back after this. This Monday morning, Blackfriars Theater is getting ready to kick off its 76th season this week, bringing the true story of Florence Foster Jenkins to life in a hilarious play, Souvenir.
This morning, we're taking you behind the curtain to learn more about the upcoming show and what you can expect. For more, we're joined now by director Nathaniel Nemi and cast member Jessica Best. Good morning to you both. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is really cool, and the three of you have kind of been laughing about this show, and I feel like I'm not in on the inside joke. So tell us a little bit about Souvenir and what it actually is.
Yeah, so this is the story of Florence Foster Jenkins, who was a coloratura soprano in the 30s and 40s, but was famously tone deaf. But she developed a huge cult following and is quite the wacky character.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you play that wacky character,
Florence
yes?
Foster Jenkins, and I remember when my high school teacher played a performance of her when we were growing up in music school, and we just laughed at it. So to do this today is crazy. Yes.
What is it like getting on stage? Because I assume you're getting up there and you have vocal skill and vocal talent and pretty good pitch.
Yes.
What is it? It's got to be trying to get up there, and you have to learn how to unlearn everything that you know.
Yes, I'm actually an opera singer and a voice professor, so I travel and do this for my life. So to play someone that doesn't actually have that capability, right, is actually very difficult because I know what is correct, and I have to go awry. So it's kind of like a mental calculus to me in the moment, but it's extremely fun to explore such a hilarious moment as well. Just so many fun moments that we have. And she also really cares about the art as I do. So I do connect with her on certain levels.
I like that mental calculus.
Yes.
And I imagine maybe at least a tiny bit, it's a little liberating. It's a little freeing to just kind of like, sing however you think that she would sing.
One of her quotes from the play is, "Art cannot be ruled by caution." And I think that for those of us that are classical musicians, we are very disciplined and it's a very executionary process. So what I've learned with Nathaniel is that it is so fun to just absolutely let go and be free.
I mean, and she is a character that would completely throw caution to the wind.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't she pay to produce her own albums because nobody was going to sign her?
Yes, there are like 12 recordings of her songs that are out there. And you give them a listen. They're quite unique. Yeah.
Absolutely. Talk to us more about some of the other characters that theater goers may encounter.
Yeah, so this particular way of telling the story, her accompanist, Cosme McMoon, who accompanied her for many years, is our storyteller. So he is guiding us through the story. And it's really a lovely, touching thing to see how much he cares for her, grows in admiration for her, in the way that she throws caution to the wind in the approach to her life. So it's like inspiring and touching, and he's really our only other character. It's just the two of them taking us through her story.
Wow, that's got to be a really fun relationship between you, who's kind of running the show, and then the two of you. I bet a really fun balancing act. And for somebody who's interested in coming to see the show, is there like an Easter egg or like a specific thing that you'd want them to notice, like, oh, this song is excellent, or like this is a moment in the show that is so important?
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
I think you want to experience the build of the show because you're going to take her journey and see what crazy things she's going to do, and then you realize what she actually heard the entire time. And that will not give it away, but perhaps you will hear some different kind of music making later on.
Okay.
Yes.
What takeaway do you hope the audience gets from this? For anyone out there who's seen the movie, you see a wonderful woman who's got a big heart and loves what she's doing, and takes a risk on herself. You can't count on anybody else. I'm gonna do it my way because I want to do it, because I love it. And listen, I think that's a great message for anyone. Trust in yourself, believe in yourself. Even if you fall flat on your face, believe in yourself. What is the message you hope theater goers walk away with?
Yeah, I think it's part of that, and throwing caution to the wind in our lives and just going for it, going for the gusto, regardless of what other people think. I think there's also a lovely piece about the way that we care for and protect one another. Especially if maybe we have friends who are, living their dream, and it's for them. That's for them. Great, right? So we can protect them and admire them. And then it's also a lovely tribute to music, to the world of classical music, to the gift that music is. And so I think those things are takeaways and experiences that you'll have seeing the show.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Thank you both so much for your time today. We appreciate it. Break a leg. We'll post all of the ticketing information over on foxrochester.com.
9:16 this morning. Don't go far when Arc Rochester returns. Stephannie Joseph will be breaking down some of our top political headlines.
Yeah, the Political Pulse is coming up next.
It's time for a political pulse check here on Arc Rochester, and we're taking a closer look at the impact of a recent executive order aimed at prosecuting people who burned the American flag. President Trump signed that order last week. Back in 1989, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a Texas man arrested for burning the American flag. In that case, flag burning was considered symbolic speech protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution. The language of Trump's order mentions that 5-4 decision. Now, a portion of the executive order says, quote, "The court has never held that American flag desecration conducted in a manner that is likely to incite imminent lawless action or that is an action amounting to fighting words is constitutionally protected." Trump is directing the Attorney General to apply relevant criminal and civil laws to prosecute those who cause harm with flag burning in ways unrelated to expression.
You burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately.
Some experts believe Trump's order could set the stage for a new legal challenge to flag burning, and it could go all the way to the Supreme Court once again. For more on this case and that executive order, I'm joined now by Professor Lucinda Finley from the University at Buffalo School of Law. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Stephannie. Thank you for having me.
Of course, so glad that you can join us. I want to start first with a little bit of background for viewers on that landmark case that I was talking about, Texas versus Johnson. Can you give a brief overview of that and why it's so important in this case?
I think you summarized it very well. The U.S. Supreme Court in that case, despite many justices saying how personally abhorrent they found flag burning, they said that the flag, given its symbolic value and the fact that burning it is done as part of protest, in fact, against some of the symbols the flag stands for, it is inevitably protected speech when done for those political protest purposes. And it fits in a long line of Supreme Court precedents that say the government can't punish expressive conduct or outright words or speech just because they disagree with the point of view that it's expressing. And that was the gist of Texas versus Johnson.
Absolutely. And I think one important element here being the First Amendment. A lot of people are concerned there will be another challenge, as you heard me say before, specifically when it comes to that area. For you, do you see that the Supreme Court is poised to take up a case like this again?
Actually, I don't think the Supreme Court is likely to take up this issue. I suspect that the charges that the Trump administration or the Justice Department in Washington, D.C. winds up bringing against flag burners, as they've already have brought charges against one person, I suspect that most of them will get dismissed at the trial court level, that the courts will find that, trying to apply, say, a law against burning something in a public park against a political protester is a form of violating their First Amendment rights. And I don't think there's going to be any disagreement amongst the lower courts about that foundational principle, which the Supreme Court has never questioned since its 1989 decision. So I don't think it's got the factors to make the court revisit it. There's no groundswell of calls to revisit it, except from President Trump. The Supreme Court justices have not called it into question, and there's not likely to be what we call a split, a disagreement in the lower courts, which the Supreme Court would then have to resolve.
And given that, it seems like there is still some confusion around the purpose of the executive order itself, given the previous protection solidified by that Supreme Court ruling. So how do you think that people at home should interpret what's being said in the order?
Well, frankly, I think it should be interpreted as just another sort of piece of political performance by the president, where he's trying to show his toughness, his patriotism, his displeasure with protests against his policies. And, I think they know that it will have little actual impact. But, I think, unfortunately, it's one of many executive orders where he's showing that he really doesn't care all that much what the Constitution says. He's going to try to challenge it or defy it or ignore it. So I think people should interpret this as yet another potential threat to long-held rights and liberties that are coming out of the current administration.
And you had heard earlier him saying what the punishment could look like. But obviously the language in the executive order is very careful about the scope of power here. I'm wondering if you can just kind of give a background or more context to the scope of the executive's power in this role. Typically, when you think about separation of powers, it's Congress or local jurisdictions that have more of a say about what those punishments look like.
Right. That's a great question. So in terms of the executive power in the order, what the president has actually ordered someone to do is he has ordered the Department of Justice, which can enforce federal laws or in local laws in the District of Columbia. He has ordered them to prioritize for prosecution any acts of flag burning that violate sort of a generally applicable law, like laws against inciting riots or laws against burning things in a public park. So he's told them basically don't focus on drug crimes or murder. Focus your resources and your attorney's time on flag burning. So as I said, already we have the man whose protest you showed, a veteran of the Iraq War who actually burned the flag in Washington, D.C. across from the White House to protest the executive order against flag burning. He has been charged with a misdemeanor under, as I understand it, an ordinance that says prohibits burning things in public parks. So there is a Supreme Court series of precedents that say if there's a law of general applicability that isn't specifically focused on expressive speech activities, where the government has a legitimate purpose not related to suppressing speech activities, that law can be applied against people who are engaging in expressive conduct in general. But each person that the laws applied to can always raise in defense that they were doing it in the exercise of First Amendment rights.
Professor Finley, thank you so much for adding some more context to this discussion. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And be sure to stay with ARC Rochester for your top political headlines. We're back after this.
Good Monday morning. Thanks so much for staying with us here on ARC Rochester. Today is Labor Day, which means it's the perfect time to hit refresh on your career and think about some new ways to stand out.
This morning, we're joined by our good friend, Ramon Ray, to talk on personal branding, standing out in the workplace, and creating opportunities that can take your career to the next level. Good morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Abby. Thanks for having me here. It's always good to be with you all as you bring cheer to the world. Thank you so much for having me.
Ooh, as we bring cheer to the world.
I know.
That's
Ramon,
like such a nice way of putting it.
What you sign your emails unapologetically what?
Positive, unapologetically positive all day.
It's true. It's true.
I love that. I do. I should try to have that mindset.
We should take a page out of your book.
Yeah.
And you know what? Why don't we start right there? Because that's part of your brand.
Yes, it is indeed. And I think that people, listen, I was talking to a family member over the weekend and she was talking about her job and what she's doing. And to your point about the power of personal branding, I was telling her, Dan and Abby, that, hey, listen, you're working at your job. This is Labor Day. Thank you for all the companies and entrepreneurs who hire people. And thank you for the people who are working for these companies. But at the end of the day, we all have a personal brand. It's not just large companies or even entrepreneurs. Those of you who are working today, it's Labor Day. Those of you who are working, you have a personal brand. brand. And the question each of us get to decide, how do we leverage that personal brand or not, even as we're internally working for a corporation, because you never know. There's layoffs, there's resignations. That time may come when it's time for you to switch, and you'll be glad you have your own professional personal brand at that time.
So how can we improve our professional personal brand?
Here's a few things I'd recommend. I think LinkedIn, I must say, shout out to them. LinkedIn is a great way to do it, just to be able to, one, comment on the things that others are talking about, even if you're not looking for the job. It's the wrong time, Abby, for me to come to you. Abby, can I have a job? I was just fired yesterday. Wrong time. But if I'm commenting, thank you so much. I appreciate that. If I'm commenting and engaging before I need somebody, that's number one. Number two, I do this quite frequently. I know somebody's having a birthday or somebody's had a hard time. I DM them, whether it's on Facebook Messenger, on WhatsApp, a text. Don't have to call somebody a long conversation. But number two, keep in touch with people. Number three, be of value to others. Can I mentor somebody? Can I help someone along the way? Very few people will say no to saying, hey, Abby, hey, Dan, could you help me out? Or, hey, Abby, hey, Dan, how can I help you? Very few people will say no to either of those two requests.
Great ideas for people to, actionable items for people actually to check off. But if someone is sitting there this morning and saying, oh, wait a sec, I have a personal brand? What's my personal brand? I don't know what my brand is. How am I supposed to market myself if I don't know what I'm selling, Ramon?
That's a great point. And I think that for those who are in companies who are working there, here's what I would do is ask your peers. Dan, you shouted me out, thank you, by saying my signature line, which is in my heart, unauthentically positive. Everything unapologetically positive. Anything else I do is just gravy. So for those who are wondering, what is my personal brand, especially as a working person, ask your team members, when I come into work, what do you think about, hopefully positively, most about me? Ask your boss and your boss's boss, hey, Jeremy, hey, Becky, thanks for having me here. I've been here 3 years. What do you like most about me? You do that on a nice basis, not so people think you're all that in a bag of chips, but on a nice basis with a smile, you will then understand, oh, they really appreciate how I'm always ready for customers. They really appreciate I'm always encouraging another staff member. That's how you'll find out what is your individual personal brand. And of course, companies and entrepreneurs, that's a little different. But for that individual who's wondering, didn't know I had one, you have one. The question is, are you leveraging it or not?
Ooh.
I'm not going to ask you on the spot right now, but I'm going to ask you during the commercial break, so I want you to think.
Okay,
and I'll think for you too, okay?
Okay.
All right, great. I think it can be kind of hard to take that step, right? Maybe somebody's in their position, they've been in there for a while, and they're thinking, I need to make a change. I don't know what the change is, and I'm nervous to take the step. What's your piece of advice for them?
Yeah, I think it's always nervous for us to take the step. Seth Godin, a mentor of mine, many of you may have read his millions and millions of books and bestsellers. He always says what to do when it's your turn, and it's always your turn. Those of you who are nervous to take the next step, I want you to turn around and look at your family. And if there's no other reason you do it, that keeps me going, do it for them. Because of your family, whether it's auntie, mama, dad, kids, your community. This is why you should do this, so that tomorrow you can wake up and be just a little bit better.
Ramon Ray, unapologetically positive. Yes, you are. Ramon, for somebody sitting at home who wants to learn more about you, what you do, how to get in touch, and maybe have you record their alarm clock for them so they can hear some motivational words to get out of bed on Monday, where do they go?
I appreciate it, Dan. Check out zoneofgenius.com. Zoneofgenius.com is the best place to get to know a bit more about Ramon Ray.
Excellent.
Thank you
so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day. And if you're watching this at home and thinking, all right, I've got to make a change here, we'll put all the information for you on foxrochester.com.
Hey, stick around. A lot more to come here on Arc Rochester this morning. We're back on the other side of the break.
right, welcome back. Can you believe it is that time of year again?
Hard to believe.
It is hard to believe. The Rochester Fringe Festival is just days away, and the preparation has already begun.
Yeah, crews have started to work on the construction of the iconic Spiegel tent. That's at the corner of Main and Gibbs Street, complete with mirrors, lights, stained glass windows, and more.
This morning, we're getting a special look at everything they have planned for the year. For more, we're joined now by Fringe Festival producer Erica Fee. Erica, good morning. I can't believe we're back at it again.
I know. I can't either.
So we have been covering the Fringe Festival for years and years and years, and every year it gets bigger and better. Run down some of the things that people can expect for this year.
So this year we are still New York State's largest multidisciplinary performing arts festival, with about 650 performances across 39 venues this year in and around downtown. We're here in the Spiegel tent, which is a gorgeous imported Belgian music hall, and we're setting it up ready to open with all of our other venues on September 9th.
And what I think is so incredible about this event, Erica, is there are, as you mentioned, hundreds upon hundreds of shows, and in most cases, the venues get to pick the specific shows that will be performed within their walls, which is really incredible.
That's right. So we are a bifurcated festival, meaning we have two halves. We have a half that we curate as the Fringe, and we are a nonprofit organization. So everything that happens here in the Spiegel tent, these are shows that we curate. But many of the venues are programmed themselves, which leads to a lot of diversity, a lot of freedom in programming, and a lot of excitement too. So all the venues are really trying to create lineups that are really going to sell.
And Erica, I know you can't see the screen right now, but we are showing video from previous years, and one show is cooler than the next and cooler than the next. Run down for us some of the unique performances that are going to happen this year. Like, I'm talking some of the ones that really, really stand out when you think about the list.
Well, I'm not allowed to have any favorite children, of course, so
Sure.
I'm going to be very delicate here. But we have on the final 2 days of the Fringe, September 19th and 20th, that's a Friday and Saturday, over at Parcel 5, we're bringing in a group called Eventi Verticali from Italy. They're doing a show called Sphere, which involves a giant sphere being hoisted up by a crane with acrobats inside and around. That's 2 free performances each night at 7 and 9 p.m. That will be a whole event, really, with other performances, food trucks, bars, that sort of thing, from 5 to 10 p.m. The 19th and 20th. We have Chelsea Handler coming in. She's on September 13th over at Eastman Theater. And we have all the shows here in the Spiegel tent, including 2 twin clowns from Quebec, the Keefe sisters. They're going to be doing a show called The Returns Department, the first weekend of the Fringe, perfect for kids and families. That's on September 13th and 14th. A nightly circus show called Cirque de Fringe. That will be every night. It's a brand new show, Cirque de Fringe Claws Out, hosted by Matt and Heidi Morgan, who headline a lot of shows in Vegas. But all of our venues have incredible things. We even have some site-specific shows. These are shows that are not in traditional locations. For instance, we have a show called Forest Music that is going to be occurring in the old growth forest of Washington Grove over at Cobbs Hill Park. We have a show that's even occurring in a hot tub called Bushwhacked Hot and Sweaty. So, we have a whole range. There's really something for everyone. If you can't find anything you like, you probably have a problem.
That's very true. Or you might not have a pulse if you can't find something
That's right.
you like. Erica, we've discussed this many times, but I just think it's fascinating to look back when you first said, hey, guys, you know what? I think Rochester needs a Fringe Festival, to today. And we do this every year. I ask you this question. But did you ever think this is where it would be? That it would have grown to be the largest in the state and one of the most accomplished in the country that people look to as a model?
Yeah, well, we've definitely become a regional destination now. The New York Times article calling us one of the more prominent multidisciplinary events in the country didn't hurt. But I think that when you're starting a festival like this, you just really need to go for it. And what makes this really unique, it's what you talked about earlier. It's this community collaboration. We have artists that come in from all over the world, but we also have artists from the local area, about 1,600, and everyone is in this together. That's what's really exciting. We don't have an artistic committee booking all the shows at all the venues. You've got everyone really going for it, and we're just so excited for these upcoming 12 days.
Excellent. Well, we're excited as well. Erica Fee, we're out of time, but give us the rundown. Where can people find information when it comes to all the shows?
Sure. So all the information is online at rochesterfringe.com. There's also a new app that you can download if you go into the Google Play or Apple stores. Look for Rochester Fringe Festival. You can also find our festival guide, 120 pages. It's in and around downtown. They're in all ESL branches. We have ESL as our title sponsor this year, but they're also at all of our venues and other places. You can see a list of pickup points on our website.
Rochester Fringe Festival producer Erica Fee. Erica, thank you so much for your time this morning. We'll let you get back to work because that tent's not going to build itself, my friend.
That's right. It's a day of labor for us.
Yeah. Thanks, Erica. When Arc Rochester returns, we're taking a closer look at some of the stories that have people talking this Monday morning.
We're back right after this. It is time to see what's trending now, starting with a man in China threatening to sue a pharmacy for exposing his affair.
Okay, so the married man claims the pharmacy invaded his privacy after a mobile payment for birth control pills led to his wife discovering the affair.
Yeah, according to reports, the man tried to buy the contraceptives using his mobile app. However, the payment didn't go through because of a technical issue.
The staff tried to collect the payment by calling the number linked to the membership card, which was his wife's number.
When she answered the phone and asked what the purchase was, the employee confirmed, just birth control.
The man now claims that interaction destroyed 2 marriages, his own and that of his mistress.
The man demands that the pharmacy bear responsibility, providing screenshots of the conversation, the original receipt, and the police report.
Legal experts say they are not convinced the man has a case, and the man's infidelity is the cause for the family's breakdown.
The story has gained a lot of traction on social media. Commenters calling him a drama king.
It kind of seems like he
100%.
He might be the problem here.
Yeah.
I feel like we need a segment, kind of like Jerk or Justified.
Yeah.
But like, it's just like, you're lame.
Yeah.
We like hit a gavel, you know?
I'm on board.
I know we have one, but
We do have a gavel. I'm on board. Yeah, you can't blame the pharmacy for that. The pharmacy didn't tell you to go and find a newer model. Like, what is that? You're gross.
That being said, there are rules with the pharmacy. Like, they can't just be calling anyone.
This isn't
saying,
America. This is China.
Oh, that's right. You know what? Never mind.
This is China.
I forgot about that part. Okay.
And listen, I'm sure there are rules, but I don't know what they are.
I don't know what they are either.
You know?
Yeah. All right.
But there's also rules in marriage. You can't just be, hooking up with other people and having affairs.
Yep.
Sorry. You lose.
Loser.
Loser. That might be the name of the segment. Loser. All right, let's move along. A woman has taken to social media to share an unusual lunchtime habit that one of her coworkers has.
Oh boy. According to the Post, the coworker narrates her food consumption out loud as she eats it. Is it like play-by-play?
The woman routinely comments on her meals, uttering things like, spicy little pickle today. Or, let's give this baby carrot a crunch.
One of the more memorable lines that she says often is, "What's that? You're just a sad sandwich? Don't worry, I'm gonna eat you anyway."
The author of the post said that at first she found some of these comments funny, but when it started to happen every day, every single day, and every day after that, it became more and more weird. And they began to feel completely uncomfortable.
The woman's habit has become distracting in their 15-person office.
She's got to be talking loud. Some people have confronted her, asking her to stop, but the woman continues to do it.
Commenters on the post say she wasn't hurting anyone, and people could have moved away from her during lunch or just put headphones in so that they weren't distracted.
Yeah, listen, here's what I say to that. Tough. Deal with it. If the lady wants to talk to her food, let her talk to her food.
We all have a weird thing that we do.
Who's it hurting?
The little pickle.
That little pickle deserved it. It did.
Okay. All right.
If you're uncomfortable by someone speaking to their food, I think that says a whole heck of a lot more about you than it does the person who's having a conversation with Sammy Sandwich.
It sounds a little bit like maybe she's lonely and she could use a friend. If she's talking to her food, that means that people probably aren't talking to her at work.
Yeah, why don't you sit down and have a conversation? Break bread with her.
Yeah. And then
Don't
become
take her
friends
to
with her.
HR.
Become friends with her, and then once you're at a comfortable level, be like, hey man, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
That's real weird. Don't talk to your sandwich.
All right, let's move along to a story that asks the question, how petty is too petty?
A 28-year-old woman took to social media sharing a bizarre interaction that took place on a recent first date.
Yeah, so according to the Post, she went on a dinner date and got burgers and fries to share.
She said he paid for the meal and she offered to cover the tip.
He accepted and everything seemed fine until the next morning.
She woke up to a Venmo request from the man asking for $3.25 with the note, half the fries.
At first, she assumed it was a joke, declining the request and then texting him about it.
He responded to her saying she was overreacting and said it's all about fairness.
The woman said she felt like the date went well, but after this, she was pretty upset and completely turned off and frankly insulted.
Commenters chimed in, many saying it's one thing to go halvesies, but for $3, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, listen, first date, good thing you learned it on the first date. There doesn't need to be a second, right?
Who thinks that that's okay? Sorry, but like that's a little wacky. That's really wacky.
I would say, bro, if you can't afford those burgers and fries, you shouldn't be taking her out on a date. I would also say, bro, dig into the couch cushions. There's probably $3.25 there.
I was thinking.
Look underneath the car seat or in the console.
It's also
check the coats, the winter coats that have been hanging in your closet for 9 months.
I don't know about
There's usually money in there.
I find Venmo requesting a little rude.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think I've ever done it to somebody. I've never requested payment over the app. I'll usually say in person, oh, hey, we got an Airbnb together. We're splitting it halfway. You owe me $100.
Yeah.
I'd say it in person. I would never request it.
Yeah.
Unless, that's just.
I find it passive aggressive.
I just find it aggressive.
Yeah, I don't know that I find it passive aggressive or aggressive.
Just annoying, rude.
Yeah, listen, we were going to split this thing, and if you have not come to me with your half, my thought is there's a different issue that you might be dealing with that I'm not aware of. And listen, my thought is I'll cover you this time, but I'm not going to give you another opportunity at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Like you want to go halvesies next time? Okay, you put the card down.
Yeah.
And I'll get you back.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't like the, hey, you owe me $15.
$3.25.
$3.25 for burgers and fries.
Okay, your IFB
And
is
she
dead.
left the
Ashley's
tip.
yelling. We
Sorry,
gotta go.
we're
Okay,
wrapping. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, this morning's final thought.
we're back after this. I don't know about that.
Well, you're the only one they have, right?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
They have another aunt?
Yes.
And you're the coolest?
She also got the same shirt.
Oh.
No
But
meaning.
We're co-coolest
Zero meaning.
aunts, and that's what matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Best bits today.
Ooh.
We had a lot of good guests.
We did, yeah.
I love talking about the Fringe Festival
Yeah.
because, listen, the stranger that stuff, the stranger it is, the more laughter is going to happen.
That's true.
Just like this show. That does it for us this morning on ARC Rochester. Wake up with us again tomorrow morning starting at 4:57 on 13 Wham ABC.
That's what it is. We have much more live local news coming up later today on 13 Wham News at midday. Steph and Marty are back. We'll see you then. Have a great day.